Good morning from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. It's 11:19 on the 21st of August 2024. Trying to get a sneaky video in because I've got my debrief today at 2, so it's all happening in a far out way and looking forward to that actually. And it's, as you can see all around me, a glorious sunny day. And we had a blue moon 2 nights ago, so there's powerful, juicy, emotional energies. So I'm riding that vibe, but you know, my wolf spirit, my wolf protective spirit does love a full moon. So there is that. So internally, I'm kind of howling right now. You kind of have to laugh. Maintain the wild though. Maintain your wild, free spirits for as long as you can, babies. That's how I exist in this world, and I like that I'm both animal and soul and spirit and intellect and emotion all jumbled up together. And yes, we all are actually, just some of us tap into it a bit more often than others, I guess. If you've stayed alive within your own body, mind, spirit complex. And it's a choice I make every day, holding my line and staying fully alive and activated. You kind of have to laugh. Anyway, today's offerings are titled Psychedelic Dreams and the Loss of My Talisman. And here we go. Demama, this is from 2016. Demama sat down on the grass to ground herself, and de Beauregard lay himself right next to her. Lovely dog. We're going to have the problem we had last time, and it's going to be hard to see actual photos because of the reflection. So he's kind of there. I don't think you can see him though. Anyway, if you need photos, you need the visual stimuli, it's all up on Vocal Media under today's date, but it'll say 2023 because I'm protesting all the bots that try to delete my writings every time I update them each year. It really grinds my gears, so I only updated the first 2 days, and then I thought, meh, well, I'll probably have to do it next year if I'm going to keep my journal entries going. And yes, or I might just leave it as it is. Like, really, this striving for perfection is grinding my gears also. But anyway. So we begin from the 21st of August 2023, 12:53 p.m. Another beautiful day. Same event in a space-time continuum a year later. I just finished retrieving memories from Facebook to update my Vocal Media journal. Intense but interesting. I also listened to and or watched the Hocus Focus podcast by Sarah Mondaini and Thomas Sheridan. Entertaining. I really enjoyed that. They only do it once a month now. I guess it was too labour intensive to do it every week. They used to present it on a Sunday. But it's a wonderful show about paranormal, Fortean topics, and I really, really love it. I highly recommend it if you're into that sort of thing. 21st of August 2022, 9:49 a.m. I just woke up. I had another interrupted night, but this morning my dreams were intense. Just like being in a TV series, it almost felt like real life. In the dream, I was walking around a fairly posh neighbourhood, admiring the homes. It felt like my childhood home, Island Bay, but the homes were more extravagant. My childhood friend, someone's mowing their lawns and I just got a waft of freshly cut grass, which actually just wafted through. It smells delightful. Oh, well, I'm alive. I can smell grass being cut from down the road. That's a bit weird, but anyway. Oh, where was I? Sorry, interrupted myself. My childhood friend, Philip Hodemakers, made an appearance. I told him that I was not in love with him, but as we grew up together on that beach and had a shared childhood, I honour that. But he is not to come to me in my dreams. Anyway, so he left the dream, and the next thing I was standing outside of what should have been his childhood home, but the house was unrecognisable, modern and open plan. The owners saw me standing outside looking at the house, so they kindly invited me in. The wife was very warm and bubbly and had an almost excitable air about her. The husband smiled welcomely, but was more judiciously, carefully watching my reactions. They told me they were selling up and moving soon. They had indoor plants climbing up the walls of the atrium. I said, "Oh, a monstera." But the husband calmly says, "No, a type of philodendron." The leaves were very large and shiny. The wife started fretting that she would have to leave so many beautiful plants behind. I said, "Take cuttings and get them started again in pots. Then you can take them with you and start again." She looked at me in amazement. "But it will take years to grow them to this state again." I nodded. Time takes time, but there is always new growth and a new flourishing. We stepped further into the room, which expanded further. Interdimensional dreams do that. There was a woman in her mid-30s, lying on a couch, wrapped up in a tan-coloured blanket, with a small child, about 2, lying cuddled up next to her. She was sleeping, and the toddler seemed to be resting too. I started to walk over to her. The wife says, "Oh no, that is no longer our house, but her part of the house." I shrugged, as I could not see the boundary or dividing line. I walked over to the woman. She looked a bit like Jasmine, but was taller and beautiful, but pale and wan, in the style of new mothers everywhere. The wife hurried over. She is a psychologist, quite alone, but no support. We dare not help her. Why, I wondered, more interested in her plants. I looked at her husband. He stood quietly by, watching with interest and a kind of bemusement. I abhor callow, lazy, passive-aggressive, superficial people who think it is funny to play one for a fool. But I look down at the woman and see real exhaustion and need there. I reach down, and the little boy looks up and reaches his little arms out to me. I gather him into my arms, and he smiles and giggles with real delight. Excuse me. And the kind of primary life force that one usually only sees in the very young. His energy is sparkly, like electricity, but not in a negative, frissonade way, but just so vivacious. We are smiling into each other's faces, seeing each other fully. A thought comes to my mind. They are jealous of you, my love. I nod. Let them be. They are losers. I fought long and hard to have my dreams manifest. I shrug the thought off. I bounce the little boy in my arms, and he chortles with delight. His mother is still sleeping, oblivious. I look again at her, and tucked in one arm is a sleeping newborn. I had not even noticed the baby. I look around the huge atrium-style room as the couple who are moving soon, wringing their hands with worry, as it's not my home, not my child, not my place. I smile. All is well. I briefly wonder why they fear the psychologist so much and refuse to help her. She is a new mother and surely deserves support. Then I wake up. 21st of August 2021. Just finished engraving my snakehead bracelet. Phew. I am not very good at engraving. That's because I don't have proper gravers, people of Earth. I was trying to do it with little burrs. It's not real good. I aspire to buy very good quality engravers in the near future, or nearest future, but the ones that I know are very good quality are about $80 each. And I need about a dozen of them. So as usual, the psychedelic dreamer, Mama T, the Tanya, dreams opulently. But I'm going to buy at least one or two because I need it for my craft, and I hate buying cheap quality tools and being stuck with rubbish that either breaks too quickly or doesn't do the job to the best effect. So I'm dreaming opulently, but biding my time till I can have the tools that I wish to acquire. So here's and one day I'll probably go over it with proper gravers when I've acquired them. Oh, you probably can't see the damn photo. That's right. Sorry. There's the photos up there of my bracelet. But if you've been watching my videos, you've probably seen me wearing it. But I engraved tried to copy all the design from the other zinc alloyed silver plated one, and tried to make it look as similar as I could, and with a few added flourishes, aka the Tanya style, and make it gorgeous. If you're going to make something, try and make it gorgeous. I've discovered since I'm losing a bit of weight in my face from peeing constantly night and day, I'm getting a dimple. It's a bit weird. I didn't even know I had dimples. There you go. It's amazing what you discover when you're not bloated right out of your skull, right? Am I right? Anyway. 21st of August 2020. A week ago, I lost my sacred space ring. It was only made out of stainless steel, but came to me in May last year, just before that fucked up surgery. So it was a talisman of sorts. I loved it. It had engraved onto it by a jeweller who had the proper skills, people of Earth. It had sacred space on it. Had a the all-seeing eye, and then it had little checkers, and then inside it said on the back it said magic happens, and on the inside it said sacred space, and it had 111, which is angel numbers, and then it had a little stamp of the yin and yang. So whoever made it to be a symbol of spiritual made it to be a talisman kind of thing with all those spiritual things on it. It was just delightful and I loved it, and I was always going to get it remade in sterling silver, and now I would have had the skills maybe to copy it in sterling silver, but I lost the bloody thing. But anyway, in the magical world, when you lose something, it means that came into your life in a mysterious way like that, it means you no longer need that energy or that protection, or other things come into your life later on. But yeah, I loved that ring. I'm still a bit upset about losing it. Oh. Anyway, where was I? I'm hoping it turns up somewhere around the house and garden, as it must have slipped off my finger. What with losing my soulmate Penny and my ring last week, I feel a bit fragile. Money has already gone down the gurgler, which always happens when I am in crisis. But I have negotiated a cheaper plan with Optus since my handset is paid off. Anyway, don't mention Optus to me at the moment. Just don't want to even think about them. So that will make things easier until I decide to buy a new iPhone. I feel like I am walking a tightrope that is being bounced on by trolls either side of a great ravaging divide. Dance for me, baby. I have no choice but to keep going forwards. Sigh, sighs. Blue-tongue lizard visitor in my garden. Oh, he was a beauty too. We'll try again, see if you can see him. Just gotta step up here. Oh yes, if I get out of the way you can see him, kinda. Big boy he was too. Big blue tongue. They make everything big in Holland Park, like the gigantic carpet python that visited my bathroom, am I right? By the gods, that was a massive snake. My cousin Melissa Rose asked, what kind is it? And I replied, a blue-tongue lizard. She replied, I actually thought it was a snake, duh. So did I at first, I replied, but it had legs and missing part of its tail, which means someone's pet has already had a go at it. Bobo was good as he only barked at it and was a bit scared of it, so came away when I told him to leave it alone, as it's my lizard, lol. Melissa wrote, I had a cat that tried to have a go at one. Guess who won? Puss steered well clear of it after that, lol. I must say, Bobo was pretty good. He'd bail them up, and let me know that they were around, but if I said, mine, don't hurt it, he would back off, He was a good boy, and sometimes he could be a good boy. Although I rang my friend Peter Lawrence yesterday, and just to have a bit of a chat, because I haven't heard from him for a while, him and Robin, and he said to me, Bobo came up and he said, he was such a good dog, except for when he was humping the teddy bear. We were laughing so much about it. I went, $112.75 for that penis, because it got sore and raw from humping the teddy bear. I hadn't realised that was going to create a major problem. Anyway, we were laughing so much about that. And I said, he was a real boy, my Beauregard. Oh, he was a real boy. A real man dog. Oh my God. But anyway, you kind of have to laugh. Here's a photo of me. Would have been about 14, maybe 15. I got that pony when I was 14. Riding my horse Asphalloth, Aspha for short. I named her after a horse in Lord of the Rings. Of course, because I'm a nerd, am I right? And I always still laugh to this day about Mr. Hodemaker's, Philip's father, saying, what's your horse's name? Asphalloth. And then very dryly he quipped, whose ass fell off. I never forget that. I was seething with rage and I went, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense. I forgive you. But yeah, she was a beautiful little pony. Tanya aged 14 and Asphiloth aged 2, which means I'd had her for about 6 months because she was 18 months when she was bought for me. 21st of August 2019, 11:11 a.m. Today is an honourable day, one that was worth staying alive for. Happy dance. Love is the law. The law is starting to act with love and respect for survivors of child sexual abuse, something that has taken centuries to evolve. Humbling and sanctifying. The divine feminine is smiling, and so am I. Long may it continue, people of Earth, dear Goddess. Long may it continue. Justice for survivors, I mean, not the other end of that spectrum. Today has been very weird. I just found socks lying on Betty's nest on top of her egg, curled up like a boss. So I dragged him out of there, put an old rug on the new dog bed outside that Lynn brought me, put the cat on that. He looked a bit nonplussed, or should that be nonplussed? He did really look kind of betwixt and betwiddled, didn't he? Poor Soxy. The housing inspector just left. I got him to take photos of the leak that urban utilities have blatantly ignored. Also told him the oven is still not working right after the tradie has been here. He made no comments, was a bit freaked as I told him I did not hear his knocking. He had to phone me as I was watching Cardinal Pell's appeal. He can't have knocked very loud as Bobo did not hear him either. Anyway, on a happy note, Pell, the evil bastard, lost his appeal. Justice for his survivors at last. Then they went ahead and it was just insane, the whole fucking thing. I won't even go over that again in my mind because I'll just be enraged for the rest of today. Anyway, he's dead now. Hopefully he's dancing in a small corner of hell somewhere. Violating house inspection where I was threatened to get rid of my fish ponds because the little Catholic boy was spiteful about me being pissed off and disgusted with Pal. Probably a paedophile in his own right, if the truth be known. Evil it was, which caused me deep distress. I have kept 2 of my 3 fish ponds, but have felt destabilised and unsafe in this home ever since. This attack, coming so soon after my last surgery, which I was still recovering from, tipped me into a rather aggravated depression. I found this card recently at Reverse Garbage. I feel unsafe in this home, country, planet. But I am still fighting for my tiny sacred space, my right to exist. I culled 2 of my large goldfish as they had tumours. They did not need to die. They had survived that way for years, but I feared they would not survive being downsized to a smaller pond. And then I found this card, and it was exactly synchronistic at how I was feeling. that day, or that week, or that month, or the months ensuing. It was fucking heinous what they put me through. I haven't really enjoyed living here ever since, but you know, I just sit here in the garden and basically wait for life to either become beautiful again or for death. Obviously, I'll have to manifest my beautiful life, since death keeps teasing me and bringing me right to the edge of it, right looking over the abyss, and forgets to kick me over and drags me back and throws me back into the dance of life for more torture and more torture and more torture. But on a happy note, today's a beautiful day and we're rejoicing our very existence. Why not? It's a hobby. Been doing it for 59 years. It's like, might as well keep going, babies. Since that absolutely unnecessary psychic and bureaucratic attack, I've also lost a hen and a cat. Watching my tiny family dwindle and feeling bereft and helpless, I will not be replacing any pets. Much as I love them, this grief is too much for me to carry. I regret not dying the night of that surgery. I fought hard to survive and to heal myself. So hard. I am done fighting. I wanted one thing from life. Oh yeah, an ex-lover turned up on the 18th of August to stalk me as well, i.e. shove his woman in my face. I rose above it, but it was another cruelty I could have done without. I can't do this life much longer. How many decades have I said this? You almost have to laugh at the confluence of events, how I get slammed every which way when I'm laid low and vulnerable, like having that surgery. It's almost like something really dark and demonic came back with it, but then, you know, it's taken me 5 years to rebuild my life, and I'm slammed again at this time of year. So maybe it's just something in my astrological chart, or maybe it's just winter moving into spring, something evil rises up again. I don't understand it, but I noticed reading yesterday that I was complaining of evil manifesting in the last few years at the same time period. So that's a pattern that's been repeating for quite some time. So I know I'm not paranoid or imagining it, by the gods. My friend Sally Castle wrote, "Huge hugs from me to you." 21st of August 2018. My sewerage is overflowing yet again. Speaking of evil rising up, literally, from the bowels of the earth. My own bowels. Oh dear goddess. Oh, that was awful. It was so awful. It went on for 16 bloody years. My sewerage is overflowing yet again. The emergency plumber came around just as it was getting dark, but it was too big a job, so hopefully another plumber will come tomorrow. I am so fed up with constant issues with the drainage. I gave Crystal my car to take home, as I won't be going anywhere, sitting around waiting for a plumber. I hope it gets fixed tomorrow. Unpleasant situation. I got a call from my GP receptionist, so I made an appointment for Thursday. Vitamin D deficiency. No wonder I've had muscle weakness, bleeding gums, fatigue, lightheadedness. I presume it is caused by my enlarged liver not metabolizing the vitamin D properly. We'll find out on Thursday. Which reminds me, I have to take my vitamin D and my folic acid and this Ginkgo Biloco, whatever thing that Lynn put me on. Oh well, I don't know whether it's making a difference, but I'll have to persevere, I guess. But I always have the vitamin D and the folic acid I've had to be on. I've been on it for about over 20 years now. 2000, I think I was diagnosed with hyperhomocysteine that apparently only CEOs of very, very large corporations get from the extreme stress. That's the level of stress and trauma I was placed under living at Waterford West, trying to keep myself and my 2 daughters safe while being threatened every day. Gave me hyperhomocysteine. The evil, dirty Rosilio cunts. May they forever rot. Well, they're not dead yet, but I hope they're rotting. I hope they're slowly rotting. What they did to me and my children is still is completely unforgivable. And that they got away with it, nothing, I was never protected, is just the hugest abomination. But I guess I can thank them. It got me a fucking disability pension for the rest of my life. But that's not how I wanted to end up. I wanted to be financially independent and autonomous, have my own money and my own dignity. I was driven into poverty by those fucking arseholes. And not just them, my own mother and her con artist father, con artist husband, who was friends of them, so they all colluded together. Isn't that evil? Beyond evil. Oh, and don't forget David Davidson was part of that as well. Anyway, we're talking, I got away from that situation September 2001, so we're talking 23 years ago now. And I've done a lot of healing over the years. Hopefully one day my beautiful life will manifest at last, and I can never just look back on all of that stuff as just a bad dream. Unfortunately, it had far-reaching consequences. It damaged my children's psyches, and now I have 2 estranged daughters and no grandchildren, and I blame it all directly on them, the constant viciousness and the harassment. And I had no money to escape or do anything. We were sitting ducks. But a bikie came to rescue us. A bikie came to offer me at least emotional support. A real man with real heart and real soul. Yes, that's why I have a lot of respect and admiration for bikies to this day. I'm not saying all bikies are good people, like any subset of subculture, there's good and bad, but real men who actually care about women and children being protected are always greatly admired by me. I don't care what echelon of society you belong to. If I deem you a real man because you've been decent and honouring of me and my children, that stays for eternity, babies. While the others can just go and rot in fucking hell. Anyway, we continue on. I had a lovely dinner with Jared and Crystal in spite of my frenzied paperwork clean out. It all started when Crystal asked me to find a book that Jasmine had written as a child about pygmies. She wanted to scan it and make a copy to send to her. Frankly, we should have just got it published, had it properly published, because it's a wonderful book. I did give it back to her though, because it was her book and she wrote it. But I carefully curated and preserved it. Only until recent years did I give it to Crystal to give back to her. I sort of felt it was only fair, since she doesn't want anything to do with me, and it's no point in me holding on to memories of people that don't want anything to do with me, and it's her book. So I did return it to her. I found the other pygmy book, but not the one we had in mind. God, I've put it somewhere safe, so hopefully it will turn up eventually. 11:11 a.m. Also saw 11:01 a.m. Just keeping an eye on the time, people of Earth. Oh, Charlie, what did you do? Yesterday, all the 11s. Not sure what the message is. Awaiting the plumber. He was supposed to arrive between 9 and 10 a.m. Sewage flowing down my property. Ghastly. I know shit happens, but does it always have to be my own shit? And why can't housing fix it properly? Anyway, a plumber has arrived as I write. Hopefully things will be resolved. I think it didn't actually finally get... What did I say? It took 16 years and I moved here in 2003. So it wasn't till 2019 when they finally fixed it properly, for the love of all the gods. Plumber finished. I can use my toilet again without flowing effluent. Yay! Isn't that funny how yesterday I was using that imagery of effluent in a swimming pool, that you have to swim really quickly or get out of the cesspool, and then today all these memories about flowing sewage and effluent. Yes, Mama T's always riding on some fucking vibe. It's quite astonishing. Although it might be another battle, as he says, gravity might have dislodged the new pipe work they did a few years ago. Huh? Gaslighting me as usual, thinking I'm dumb. But anyway. Plus, thirsty big trees looking for water, stretching their roots. Poor things. That's more likely to be the case. Here I shared a joke posted by Monty Hellman, and I wrote in Yiddish, Gewalt, which means, it's an expression of, like, it's more than just oi, it's like Gewalt, it's like horror of horrors kind of thing. Anyway, I'll read you the joke because I obviously thought it was worth preserving, so it must be pretty funny, so here we go. Morty visits Dr. Saul, the veterinarian, and says, "My dog has a problem." Dr. Saul says, "So, tell me about the dog and the problem." "It's a Jewish dog. His name is Seth, and he can talk," says Morty. "He can talk?" the doubting doctor asks. "Watch this." Morty points to the dog and commands, "Seth, fetch." Seth, the dog, begins to walk towards the door, then turns around and says, "So why are you talking to me like that? You always order me around like I'm nothing, and you only call me when you want something, and then you make me sleep on the floor with my arthritis. You give me this verkachte food with all the salt and fat, and you tell me it's a special diet. It tastes like dreck. You should eat it yourself. And do you ever take me for a decent walk? No, it's out of the house, a short pish, and right back home. Maybe if I could stretch out a little, the sciatica wouldn't kill me so much. I should roll over and play dead for real, for all you care." Dr. Saul is amazed. "This is remarkable. So what's the problem?" Morty says, "He has a hearing problem. I said fetch, not kvetch." And that was posted by a book, How to Raise a Jewish Dog, the rabbis of the Boca Raton Theological Seminary, as told by Alice Viner and Barbara Dovelman. That's hilarious. I liked that so much, I thought I would share that. 21st of August 2017. I overdid the dancing this weekend, so now have terrible back pain. Grr, bloody idiot I am. Wow, I must have had a wonderful time though. I must have danced myself to absolute mortification, as I often do, believe it or not. Anyway, 21st of August 2016. Magic happens, life happens, shit happens, love equals magic equals life. Be in it, do it, make it, complete it. A hand reaches out to me, a lifeline, life sentence. A 90-year-old woman, completely aware that she does not want to live to 100. A 51-year-old woman, completely aware that she should not have lasted this long. Oh, how we laughed in the face of our very existence. The cosmic joke, no getting out of life alive card. So we are forced to cleave to the errant mockery and emptiness and pointlessness, her and I. She begged to be a grandmother to my dog, then admitted she herself was childless. I demoted her to auntie. My dog has many aunties and uncles too. In brackets, my house has many mansions. My internal infernal soul depth, many floors to escalate upwards and downwards on this Jacob's ladder to heavenly, hellish paradise. Whoops, there she goes. If I had known a few short sentences earlier, I would have permitted that wonderful, vibrant nonagenarian to be my dog's grandmother. She could even have been his nona. The pathos of a life reduced to yearning to be admired and respected as a wise old woman, if only by a dog. The old woman and me both will never see our grandchildren. Cruel twist of fate, but we rejoice within the tattered garments of our lives, empty vessels, painted purple and red, fleshed out, plumped out, puckering kisses to the void. Beautiful. She was an elderly woman my friend Lynn and I met when we were walking around the shops at Cleveland one afternoon. And do you know, I don't know what's wrong with me. I should have taken her phone number and befriended her and become a proxy daughter to her, because she was lonely and that's why she was wanting to be grandmother to my dog. It's probably getting a bit senile, if the truth be known, at 90, but you know, it wouldn't have hurt. It wouldn't have hurt to include her into my life. But instead, typical of a writer, I kept myself just that one step removed and wrote about her instead. She was gorgeous. Goddess bless, wherever you are, my darling. Maybe next life you'll get to be a grandmother or grandfather and enjoy the joy of little ones on your knee and telling them outrageous stories and smelling their fresh, sweet smell of life force and just delighting in life for the love of all the gods. Anyway, my cousin Audrey Childs, who, I don't know, eventually defriended me on Facebook, shit happens, wrote quite positively, you should write books. And I wrote back, I do. Facebook, or rather, off my Facebook. And then I put a big cheesy grin. Here I continued writing. My kid is overseas, still not married, almost 31. Shit, almost 39 now in November. What's that? 3 months away. By the gods, I feel old, having a 39-year-old daughter. Well, who's estranged to me? That makes me feel old and tragically sad as well. No wonder my health's spiralling under. It's fucked. It's all completely, utterly fucked. And did I mention fucked? But anyway, life goes on. I'll create my own family someday. Won't be able to have children or grandchildren, but maybe I'll, in the next life. Let's be realistic. She may not come back, and if so, will just tidy up loose ends and get another visa. That's what she was telling me anyway. So if she does have children, they will be strangers to me or a one-dimensional figure on Skype. At any rate, not really in my life. I used to love to sink that boot into me, my girls. Oh well, they knew that was my wound, that I always wanted a loving family, so they knew how to get to me at any given time. The other kid, meaning Jasmine, has no desire to have children, and as she and I are not in contact and never will be, she does have kids. I will never see them. So I made peace with that fact a long time ago. So my sole reason for being a mother, which was to have a loving family around me, was an absolute, utter waste of time, effort, and my heart, which is why my fur children and feathered child are such a solace to me. And now they're all gone except for Charlie, so you can imagine how the grief still kind of soaks through me with monotonous regularity. I guess it's gonna take a long time to shuck off all that grief. It's just beyond awful. I have been to the pharmacy. I got a repeat on a script for antibiotics I had a few months ago, still bringing up phlegm, coughing sporadically, feeling drained and weak. So I will try a course of these, and if no better, I will have to go back to my doctor. I also got some more HRT, as going off it gives me bad withdrawals, and the way I'm feeling mentally at the moment, I don't need any of that. I slapped a patch on in the car while parked in the dog park, intending to take Bobo the clown's psycho puppy to the dogs. But as soon as I let him out of the car and let him in there, he went berserk. Actually attacked a big border collie who was not fazed and thought he was only joking, but he grew even more enraged then, so I literally had to grab him by the scruff and haul both our asses out of there. I call it the walk of shame when my dog refuses to play nicely with others. So in the car he went back home. He seemed relieved, not the least bit sorry. So today has been a bad day for him and me, but we are now chilling on the couch. I dosed myself up with the heavy antibiotic and other meds I forgot to take this morning. I hope to get better in a few days. If not, end stage, exit side left, blackout curtain, fade to black, send in the clowns and sue the producers. It's just my dark humour, people, obviously. I'm still riding through life, one fucking day at a time, babies. It's actually become so bizarre and absurdistly ridiculous that I can only laugh at my own self, really. But anyway, as I said at the beginning of this video, life is beautiful. It's a beautiful day, and Charlie loves me, and there's people out there who love me, so all is not lost. I've just eaten a bowl of basmati rice with steamed in the microwave broccolini from my aquaponic garden that the dickhead housing inspector made me get rid of. You know, they're so hypocritical. They tell you to grow, you know, beautiful gardens and have edible landscapes, and when you actually have one, they make you get rid of it. The morons. I'm still livid about that. I think I'm going to be enraged about that until the day I die. Anyway, and 2 poached eggs, corn kernels, and sweet chili sauce. Yum. Must have had no meat in the house because I was broke from eating just eggs and veggies. Fuck. Anyway, what can I say? Pity I nuked the egg and broccolini, or the meal would have been organic. I also made fresh coffee for the first time in weeks. I felt like a caffeine rush, I guess. I'm still exhausted, but I'm coughing more after taking the antibiotic at 4 p.m. I think it is making things move deep down in my chest. Wishful thinking, perhaps. Out, damned slime and negativity, and purge that bacteria. I will fight you just because I can. No other reason. I will wrest back control over this vehicle and drive myself into further bursts of creativity before I finally end transmission forever. Blow a gasket. I got stuff to do before that happens. Time is of the essence. I finally can admit to myself that there are things to leave behind of great personal value that must be expelled from within my psychedelic dreaming, ever-evolving, confounded, lambasted, and mostly misunderstood psyche. Pugilistic purging of ephemeral brain matter before dementia or rigor mortis sets in. Death-defying feats of impudent audaciousness. Oh wait, we can tick those off. Actually, not sure where I'm going or when, but in the meantime, I will fight for my right to practice the zen of psycho-babbling and maybe still stomp some ghosts down occasionally, although I am done with dancing for now. Warriors need their rest. Eventually, we all rest. I missed out on the life I wanted over and again, but this is me now, fairly discombobulated, fractured and unique. What does not kill you makes you stranger, weirder, complex PTSD, shadow dancing with shadow puppets. Shine a light on that blanket show. Poof! They are gone, all of them. You have no power over me. You took too much. But I grew back again in my own power. Now I just need to learn how to handle it. And then I posted again that photo of me on the horse. Photo recoloured by Jared Nielsen, but you won't be able to see it, I don't think. I think it's switched situation normal? Maybe, maybe not. I can't see if you can see it or not. Anyway, little 14-year-old Tanya, barely surviving her childhood, even at that point in time. That horse was bought for me by my paedophile godfather, although, to be fair, he was no longer sexually predating on me at that age. That stopped when I was 8. But then it sort of moved into a more, it was really sick and vile. He would act as if he was my boyfriend and constantly ask me if I loved him. And that's why I very rarely tell someone I love them unless I absolutely mean it. Because if I'm having to tell someone I love them that I actually despise or don't trust or feel some kind of ick factor around them, I literally can't say it. And if I'm forced to say it under any circumstances, I literally vomit. I will fucking vomit for hours. Don't ever ask me to say I love you to an enemy or someone I don't love. It won't happen. It sickens me to my core to this very day because of the damage from my godfather. It was that fucking evil. And he would say things to me like, he was really fucked up. He would say things to me when I was, now I've got to think how old I was because my niece is 6 years younger than me. Yes, so it was when I was 14 he was saying that to me, because my niece would have been 8 years old when I was 14. He was 8 and 6. Yes, that's correct. He was evil. He was demonic. He would say things to me, oh, Marika's growing up nicely, and look at me meaningfully. She was the age that I was when he predated on me. And I'm 14 and I'm looking at him thinking, you fucking bastard. But I'll be smiling politely, I'm very good at that to this day, of thinking that someone's a fucking evil, dirty bastard. But I'll just smile. They have no idea. They'll have to wait for the fucking axe to fall. And don't worry, I have ways of getting to them eventually. If I think if I sniff that they're a pedophile, the axe will fall. But anyway, fortunately I haven't had that around my life for quite some years. I eliminated any friends that weren't protecting their children, and I deemed to be enablers. It's like, get out of my life. You can't be in my life. It's part of what happened with the breakdown of my relationship with Courtney. He had friends that were just fucking creepy and predating on mutual friends' kids, and I was like, no, you can't be in my life. If you're not going to protect your children, you can't be in my life. Get out, So there was that too. But anyway, back to what Trevor used to do. He would say things like, isn't Marika pretty now that she's 6? And oh, don't worry, I still love you. And I'd be like, bleh, And I actually said it to him when I was 14. I think he'd already bought me the horse, quite frankly. I actually said it to him. I said, if you even think about touching my niece, I will tell everyone what you did to me. He went pale. He went fucking pale. I said, you keep your filthy hands off my niece. And then so it hurts to this day that my sister, my half-sister, my niece's mother, declared me dead for speaking out about, the abuse. Basically, she didn't declare me dead till the end of the will dispute, but she was not happy when I spoke out about the abuse when I was 20, which I was honour bound to do so because I had protected her daughter when I was only 14 years of age, by the way, which was a lot of pressure to be on a young teenage girl who was already barely surviving that man. And at 20, I'd had my own baby, my firstborn, Crystal, my eldest. I didn't want him near my baby. I didn't want him near me. I didn't want him near my child. I feared that he would find a way to predate on my child somehow, which was completely irrational because there was no way I was ever going to leave her alone with him. But it was the ick factor. I didn't want him in my life. And he didn't need to be in my life. And quite frankly, my mother, knowing what he did to my half-sister before me, many years before me, 10 years before I was even born, should have fucking known better and made sure he wasn't in our lives. But that's how evil and debauched and what an enabler she was. So yes, it's sick and it's distressing and it's traumatizing to this very day. But that was my life, people. Having to make kissy faces and go along to get along and treat people as if they were accepted members of my family when I actually thought they were demonic and the lowest form of scum, and I knew I wasn't safe with them, and I knew that my little niece would not be safe with him, and that in real terms I wasn't safe with any of them, because not one of them, not one, not my half-sister, not my brother-in-law. I mean, my niece wasn't capable of protecting me because she was much younger and a child. But not one of those evil, dirty motherfuckers protected me. Not one. And then there were people in the neighbourhood in our beachside area in Island Bay that referred to me as the strange little girl. Instead of thinking, why is she always alone, sitting on the edge of the rocks, not realising, the dumb motherfuckers, that even at that age I was contemplating suicide by drowning myself. I know this is dark and distressing, but that was my childhood. That's what I've survived. So when dumb motherfuckers come up to me and they want to dump their problems on me, and it'll be something as trivial as like the equivalent of a broken fingernail, I'm just like, sorry, I can't support this. You've got nothing to worry about. Comparatively, you have a good life. Just, go and see a therapist or grow a new fingernail. But, it's not that I'm not empathic. I'm very empathic, but it's just some people that I have met in my walk in life are just pathetic and weak. I look at them and I think, you're pathetic and weak. And I've had to survive the likes of you that was so pathetic and weak that you inflicted your evil on others for just the sheer enjoyment of it. And it's hard for me. It's hard for me to respect people like that, Courtney, my ex, so pathetic and weak, although he was a big, tough, brawly, associate bikie. But when it came to protecting his friends' children, they got rid of me for speaking the truth, saying it was inappropriate for a grown man to be lying on the floor with a child that's not his child, sleeping next to her during the night on the floor under a blanket. They couldn't see anything wrong with that. That's how weak, piss weak, and evil, and depraved, and drug-addled they all were. Fucking animals is what they were, all of them. I was the only one that had the cojones to speak out. Well, I don't even know to this day, to be sure, if that child was molested. I don't know. I had to walk away. I said, well, you won't protect her. I'm walking away from this situation. Evil was what they were. But anyway, every now and then I think about it and I worry about it, And when that ugly, demonic fucking hag raised its head again with someone very close to me, a relative, a close friend of mine, I said, you have to report it. We did the right thing, tried to protect that child. Nothing gets done by and large. That's how sick and evil and depraved our Australian society is. I guess not just Australia, but across the globe. So, You know, it's part of the reason why after that relationship broke down with Courtney, that I went into full battle mode in social media and Facebook, advocating for child protection of, you know, child survivors of sexual abuse, and also advocating for adult survivors like me to be heard and seen, and you know, those people that could get justice because they were, you know, molested or predated on in institutions, to get at least compensation. There's no compensation for me. No, I got vilified and scapegoated even worse for speaking out. You know, it's that evil. But anyway, those types of humans out in the world, you know, hopefully they'll face justice one day. Hopefully. Maybe in the next dimension, if there is such a thing as a hell. For me, hell has been living here on planet Earth. Sad but fucking true. But I try not to be immersed in darkness all the time, and I try every day to create my beautiful life and be happy and be surrounded by people who love me and have my back and genuinely see me and care for me and treat me with honour, because I didn't have that. I didn't have that for decades, and it's the life I want to have now, to be treated with honour and respect and integrity and genuine care. I deserve that as much as any other human being on this planet. I deserve that much, and to be loved one day, maybe, by a wonderful man who doesn't judge me or doesn't demonise me or scapegoat me for being a survivor of that awful horror. By the way, it's never the child's fault. We have no power to fight back. Who are we going to fight back with? He used to threaten to kill my parents and my friends if I told anyone when I was 6 years old. When you're 6 years old, you don't know that that's a bluff. You think it's real, you know. Anyway, I was lucky in a way that he didn't actually actively, you know, there was no actual penetration as far as I can recall. But still, it was still vile and creepy and disgusting and dehumanising and destabilising and fucking evil, you know. So if I say to a man that I love him, it's the greatest fucking honour and example of trust and deep, deep respect, and in my case it has been proven in the past decades, blind folly on my part at times, not seeing someone for who they really are. Anyway, I continue on writing about my horse. She was 18 months old, unbroken. This is how dangerous and unstable Trevor Singh was. Who buys a 14-year-old girl an unbroken, untamed horse? Like, the potential for that animal to kill me was, you know, no one even thought about the potential dangers of that. I didn't, because I was a child. I was just too excited about having a horse. Like, how cool is it? I've got my horse. Anyway, here I write, just a giant pet, lol. She was my soulmate. Yes, she was. I was very psychically connected to her. I knew when she needed me, like the time I found her trapped around her fetlock by rusted barbed wire from an old fence. I had woken early, unusual for me even as a teenager, with a strong sense of foreboding. I packed her halter, got into my jeans and t-shirt for the long hike in the hills to search for her. Mum asked, I must have been about 16 at that point in time because I wasn't allowed to wear jeans. I had to buy my own jeans, and my mother forbade me wearing jeans. They thought it was a sign of people of low class, working class, low grade scum. I wasn't allowed to wear jeans. I said to them, I need jeans for when I go horse riding. You know, it's ridiculous making me ride a horse in a skirt. It really was ridiculous. Anyway, that's how I know how old I was at that point in time, because of the mention of the jeans. Got into my jeans and t-shirt for the long hike in the hills to search for her. Mum asked me what I was doing. I shrugged, said, Asfa needs me. There is something wrong. My mother nodded. She didn't question me after that because my mother was highly intuitive and psychic too. So she could see that I was coming into some of my abilities that I've had since childhood. Off I went. I walked up the hills for an hour before finding her lying down, trapped by the wire. Other horses standing nearby, helpless. I walked up to her, calmed her, and pulled the wire off. Took some doing too. It must have hurt, but was not too deeply embedded, thank God. She was smart and had not struggled too much. I led her back down to the front paddock. She was very thirsty. I fussed over her, drove home. Yes, I was indeed 16 because I got my licence when I was 16 too. Said, I might need a vet. Mum gave me some antibiotic powder she had recently needed for her own wound. So off I drove back to the farmlet. How lucky was that we had that antibiotic powder handy in the house. Asfa had not run back into the hills. I put the powder on her wounds. She healed within days. I would dearly love to have a horse again. It has been decades since I rode one. My friend Julie Butler from Facebook wrote, looks like you're in a Wild West movie set. And I replied, out of shot, behind us is the beach. The photo has yellowed with age. And Audrey wrote, fab way to get out. I used to have horses too, and they were such great fun. On ya, Tanya. And it was my Auntie Sylvia Shine, our family friend, my Orthodox Jewish English Rose, that realised that something was not quite kosher in the state of Wellington when Trevor Singh bought me that horse. She went to my mother and she said, is he predating on our Tanya? Is he molesting her? My mother said, oh no, I don't think so. And but she told me later, she said, I confronted your mother about it and she wouldn't have a bar of it. I said, no, because she knew the dirty, lying, evil bitch. Auntie Sylvia says to me, what do you mean? I said, he'd molested me from the ages of 6 till, just short of being 8 years old, because I turned 8 on the cruise ship going to Germany. So 7 and 3/4 years he molested me until, and then I had a ship steward on the ship trying to molest me as well. Like, I was never fucking safe with men as a child. It's why I am the way I am today with men. It's why I just go, and I can turn on a dime if I think they're being particularly threatening. There's a reason for that. That was my upbringing, people. That was my training ground as a warrior goddess. I mean, I'm not an actual goddess, but you get my vibe, don't you? That's what I had to overcome. But anyway, I did tell her, I said, no, you were correct. Your instincts were correct, Auntie Sylvia. But it had happened many years prior to that. I said, but he was still emotionally abusing me, and it was sick and depraved, and it's probably why I still have difficulty working out, in relationships with men, who's genuine and who isn't, and who really has my back and who really loves me. I guess I'm going to struggle with that for the rest of my life, even after 25 years of therapy. It's going to be a constant struggle, and I'm just grateful though that in the last 5 years since my gallbladder surgery, which was in 2019 when I nearly died, that I seem to have not invited any more assholes into my life, and I've just been dancing my dance and joyously living my life each and every day, and living each day as if it's my last, and just being safe and sanguine and circumspect, and loving my male friends that do love me and have demonstrated real love for me, keeping me safe in the club, and tolerating my quirky ways when I get activated sometimes, and just showering me with sweetness. There's a reason why that particular man was told recently that I'm in love with him, and it's not meant as to threaten his lifestyle or to invade or desecrate his marriage. It's not meant that way. It's only natural that after a lifetime of not ever having men that I could trust with my body, mind and spirit, that I would get a bit silly, when someone consistently shows me that level of trust and human decency and honour and respect. Seriously. So, to you, you know who you are. Everyone on YouTube knows who you are anyway. So, and to my friend Juddy, who's currently fighting his own battle at the moment, thank you for your sweetness towards me in the past 12 months. And it's kind of weird that symbiotically my health has spiraled down at the same time yours has, but it's just a kind of a synchronicity. It's not anything deliberate. And anyway, we're going to fight back. We're going to fight back to full health in our own unique ways. And I'm proud of you all for sticking by me, because I can be difficult at times with my traumas and my sometimes barely contained rage. And but I know that you know that at my core I'm a decent and wonderful person, and I know that you know that. So I'm just going to leave it there. There's nothing more to be said, really. Just feel grateful to be alive and have sunshine in my life again, literally and figuratively speaking. Still in 2016, I shared a piece of prose from Rabbi Tzvi Freeman from the Lights of Kabbalah. He wrote, "Despair is the ultimate form of self-worship, the perception that you have the capacity to truly mess up, to take the world's destiny out of its creator's hands and sabotage his plans. Know that the world is in a constant state of elevation, rocketing upwards towards its ultimate wholeness at every moment, every quivering of every leaf, every subtle breeze, every slightest motion of any particle of our universe is another move in that same direction. Even those events that seem to thrust downward are in truth only a part of the ascent, like the poise of an athlete before he leaps, the contraction of a spring before its energy is released. There is not a thing you could do to halt that dynamic even for a moment. True, you must take responsibility for your deeds and work hard, very hard, to clean up your own mess. But when all the dust settles, you are exactly in the space where you were meant to be. One step closer. And I replied, I needed to read this today. Thank you, God. Your humour and cosmic timing is, as always, supra-natural. Bida-bum, bida-bim, bida-bim-bim-bum. Tish. Hungry as a hornet, so I'm now baking bread in my bread machine. I hope it turns out okay. It has mustard and olives, thyme, rosemary, and parsley in it. It looks promising. I am in a Byron state of mind. Oh, a day like today, Byron Bay would be so magical right now. It's a pity it's a 2-hour drive from me, or I'd be in that car, down that highway, on my way. But I've got to debrief with my psych, so there is that. Meaning I need to escape my inner turmoil and get my ass to Byron. In the meantime, there will be freshly baked bread. Julie Butler wrote, good luck with getting to Byron. Could do with a dose myself, indeed. And Audrey wrote, sounds delish, enjoy. And later I wrote, Viva la Revolution! Long live truth, light, and love. 21st of August, 2015. We got some rain today, just after I watered all my pots on the stairs last night and was planning on hosing the garden today. Rain dances work. I had some cleansing tears last night too. Soul rains help too, even if I flood myself occasionally, laughing my ass off. That's an answer to a meme that went round. I'm starting a Facebook rain dance. Everyone, no matter where you are in the world, please post a picture of rain and focus on rain for all those that desperately need it. Spread the word. Rain, rain, rain. But not today, darlings. I'm enjoying the sunshine today. I'm being selfish. I think we'll get rain tomorrow, judging by the clouds, though. It's looking like it's a possibility. Yup, up on my feet again, getting ready to dance through my pain. Tarina Edwards wrote, you gonna dance up a storm at the casino tonight? I'm really tired, but feel like a dance. And I replied, I'm not tired, but have a massive new wound on my shoulder, skin cancer excision. But I need to dance, so dance I shall. At the bus stop, it's due in 10 minutes or so. Isn't she awesome, coming out to dance with me? Love you, Tarina. Now, where are we? Why won't it scroll? Scroll, babies. This is in 2015 we're writing from. Yes, 2015. That was the night. That was the night. No wonder I was feeling so fragile, having just had that skin cancer sliced out of me. It was a massive fucking injury too. Wound, I mean. And then the bullshit in the casino happened, and then it was just one thing too many. I had a lot going on that year, a lot, but that was the final straw. Spring is coming, jonquils and jasmine, my gifts from the universe and sacred space. Beautiful flowers. I am a clown, aka a universal schmuck, or in Native American terms, Hayoka, the trickster, or in Viking terms, Loki, or just born a mugwump, as my father used to call me. Just fucking unlucky. But like all unlucky, tragic figures, I remain positive that my life could change for the better. That is called denial and is not just a long river on the continent of Africa. So the cosmic joke continues and the devolution spirals out of control and the hurdy-gurdy plays out of tune and the lovers love endlessly, patiently, tortured, sighs, while the dreamer dreams of comfort and stability and a real partner. I have had my ass kicked since I was born, and I always got up, got out, got through. It is just incredible what I managed to survive with no or very limited resources, turning shit to spiritual gold, true alchemy. I am the magician of the tarot, but also the fool, the high priestess, the empress. Perhaps I should add to that, sometimes I'm also the star, but I mean that not as star of a show, but in the metaphysical sense of the star balancing out between heaven and earth. I'm also the hanged man some days too. What am I today? I think today, yes, I'll go with that, the star. Feeling happy and hopeful. I was told my life would be happy and successful when I'm 60, so that I'd have a loving man in my life, so I'll just hold on for that. And if it doesn't manifest at 60, I guess I'll just do what I've done every day of my life. Just keep moving forward or upwards until I finally elevate right out of this planet, people of Earth. Whatever the gods decree for me, what will be will be. Most of all, I am free and I look forward to the next adventure. In the meantime, I am anchored in this world and intend to continue on my quest to have fun and love my life before I die. Shabbat Shalom. I've spent the day in bed, sleeping lots and dealing with racing thoughts when awake. Time to eat, drink, and if I feel up to it by 10 p.m, dance and be merry. My wound hurts a fair bit, so I will not be pushing myself too hard. Thank you to all my healer friends. Little Rachel has come through the operation fine. She is eating and drinking. Such a great relief and such an ordeal for a small child. Her grandmother was very worried, but is now pleased that Rachel is on the road to recovery. August 21st, 2014. 2:58 a.m. Knackered. I have cooked chili con carne, made a huge pot of brown rice and a jelly. I've done a few loads of washing. I hate brown rice. What was I thinking? Trying to be healthy in that moment, am I right? By the gods. You kind of have to laugh. I'm all triggered now. Brown rice. What? Brown rice? I'm supposed to only eat brown rice, people of Earth. Can't stand it, and I refuse to submit. I've done a few loads of washing, made room in my pantry, had to throw some very dried sultanas and the palm sugar out. I have house guests for the next few weeks. To make room for them, I had to move all the toys off the spare bed and into my camphor box, and 3 very large stuffed toys are still out on top of that. I have so much stuff. Thank God I've decluttered since then. I still have so much stuff though. Lucky I sorted the linen collection the other day, so I was able to make more room. Oh my God, it is epic. I will sleep well when I get there. 5:26 a.m. Going to attempt sleep now. Boker Tov, Lila Tov Boker Tov. It means good night and good morning. Morning chorus from the birds will sing me to my sleep. 21st of August 2013. Waiting through the night and until tomorrow evening to see if Bella survives the paralysis tick bite. Her breathing is very laboured and she has vomited small amounts of mucus and bile, so I'm hoping the poison is leaving her body. My friends on Paltalk spent hours sending healing energy and watching over her with me. I'm very grateful for everyone's loving kindness and support. One scared mother here. Bella is worse. We'll need to put her down as I can't afford the serum, which is $2,000. Devastating. My Auntie Sylvia Shine. I hope it turns out for her. It's so sad. She is like a child to you. Don't be hasty. Mavis wrote, so sorry to hear this. And I wrote, Bella is still fighting hard. Crystal asked the vet to sell us the serum and fluids on a drip. She is in my arms since 5 p.m. Her gums are still pink, but her breathing is still very laboured. Gonna ring the vet. She is not coping. I think it might be time to let her go. That was an ordeal. I can't even bear to think about it. Another ordeal. It's why I'm not replacing any of my pets. My nervous system can't take it anymore. Not the joy and the love I have with them when they're alive, but the awfulness at their end it's just too sadistic and cruel. I can't put myself through that ever again. Losing Beauregard, I've not recovered from his loss. It was just, I guess I lost, 3 cats, almost one a year, and then Beauregard, I was like, no, I'm done now. I can't sustain it. I just can't. And I really, the grief was so immense when Bobo died that I wanted to die with him. And then I nearly got my wish with a truck sliding into me. So, yet again, ironically, I chose life, which quite frankly, given what I know about life, is the most crazy, absurdist, berserker, stupid thing I have ever done in my life, but here I am still going every day. So there you go. That's my madness, cleaving to life against the odds. 21st of August 2011. I went out with Jared to go to the city, and on the bus he got a text from Crystal as she'd finished her audition early. So we met up with her and went to Paddington to look at all the second-hand shops there. Then we went to Macca's and then on to West End to the Three Monkeys. At Paddington, Jared picked 2 cuttings of coleus, one for both of us, and on walking home I finally got the nerve to snitch a piece of my neighbour's beautiful camellia. Now I have 2 different varieties of camellia cuttings. I hope they both strike, as they are both lovely. They didn't. What a lovely afternoon, and such a good day after yesterday's emotional turbulence. I love going out. It really does clear the head. Here I shared a quote from E.B. White. Analysing humour is like dissecting a frog. Few people are interested, and the frog dies of it. And I commented, the same goes for my daily dream analysis. Still need to work out what horses that walk for 12,000 kilometres and rooms crammed full of glass and crockery that cannot be navigated by guests for a party actually mean. Most likely nothing, just that my psychedelic dreaming brain is dying in Technicolor with movie quality, sound and action. Oi, maybe I should make movies from my dream sequences, or maybe I should just try sleeping peacefully and without dreams for once in my unnatural life. Yeah, baby. And thus concludes today's readings of even date, 21st of August 2024. It's now 12:56 p.m. I've got enough time to go down to Pet Barn, buy some fresh food for my Charlie because we've run out, and see my doctor. So it's a glorious day, and it's been heavy going, this video, so I'll put a trigger warning on in the description so you're pre-warned, because it's distressing, but it's my real life. It's what I've come through, and I make no apologies for it, because as I said, a little child of 6 to almost 8 is not responsible for the family predation, by the way. And those that blame children and gaslight child survivors and adult survivors of child abuse are the worst kind of verminous demonic evil that can slither or crawl upon this earth, equivalent to being an actual paedophile or child abuser themselves. So if you have those predilections and you get off on coming to my page and watching me talk about my life, there's the door, off you go. This channel is not for perverts and pedophiles and child rapists. It's not for you. It's for those of us who survived against all odds and have somehow managed to make our lives beautiful one day at a time. It's also in honour of all those children and adolescents and young people that didn't survive and suicided instead. And there were many, 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 many that lost their lives to drugs and alcohol and child prostitution and the sex slavery trade that's still going on to this day, by the way. Big industry, particularly in the United States. Watch The Sounds of Freedom if you want to get a feel for how that goes. And this channel is in honour of all of us who survived against the odds, and particularly in honour of all of those of us who survived against the odds and grew up to break that chain and not perpetuate that abuse on our own children or child friends or neighbours or students or anyone who came into contact with us, being an honourable, decent person with dignity and a conscience and respect for children and others that come into our care. So have a beautiful day and live your best life and do right by others, even though sometimes it's a dilemma and very difficult to achieve sometimes. You have a choice to do right or walk away, let go and let God. Sometimes that's the hardest choice of all, believe it or not. Anyway, thank you for bearing witness to my truth, and for those few people that know me in real world, for loving me and being caring and honouring and protective. I like to think that I can look after myself and protect myself, but there's times when it's nice to know I have a tribe and or a community around me that, have my back. So, to you, my darlings. Bye for now. Have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you, no doubt, tomorrow.